Welcome back to another episode of the Two Pelicans podcast. So you would have just missed that.
Loving
G'day, you Pelicans.
Here he was, you were sort of hung up on his
door. Go and have a good time there a bit later on.
Pelicans landing in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the Two Pelicans podcast. I'm Joey.
And I'm Mick, and we are the Two Pelicans.
That's right, Mick, and we're here. Our job every week is to make fishing great once again, but the main thing is to get you weapons, you legends, you Pelicans through that shitty work week with a big old smile on your dial. And thank you for tuning back once again.
Yeah. So, look, thanks to everyone that's come along and supported us so far. We've been getting a few comments. We got them reels out through the week. And, look, there's been a lot of love around the reels that we've done it after. So,
like usual, we had a few technical
it wouldn't be Two
but,
Pelicans otherwise, would it?
And I think, to be honest, Mick, that's why we're pretty relatable, you know, like we haven't got the world's best podcasting equipment, we haven't got the best this, we haven't got the best that, but what we do have is we can talk and we can talk shit, and that's what we're good at, so that's what we're here to do. So a little bit of a different episode this week. You would have seen our first one last week. You would have already listened to that from after, which was an absolute beauty with Breaker Billy. But today's episode, we're actually going to play a little bit of something we've pre-recorded, Mick. We pre-recorded
that's right.
After.
That's right. So we had, 15, 20 minutes with the Women in Recreational Fishing League.
Yep.
And we'll obviously play that segment later on in the podcast. But
it was really refreshing. Hey?
It was. And it was good to hear some of their ideas of trying to get more women involved in fishing.
And we were like a little bit sort of like, I don't know, like how this is going to go on the Two Pelicans, but it became pretty eminent pretty fast that they were all about what we're about and having a good time.
They're a bunch of Pelicans as well.
They are. So that's hang around to the end of the show because it's going to be worth hanging around. It's going to be some really good content. But in the meantime, mate, let's just dive into before we find out what we've been up to.
Yeah.
Bit of news. What's been happening on the news front? Actually, first things first.
Better crack can.
Ooh.
So, look, on the news front, as everyone's aware, I'm still just working away with the boat. Trains, planes and automobiles still is happening in my household. We've got cars going left, right and centre and getting repaired and taken back and all the rest of it. But, we're coming into the month of September, and I'm going to give it a bit of a plug now. We're going to, I'll be competing in the Flatty Classic, the Gold Coast Flatty Classic this year.
Yep.
So my attention's starting to turn towards that. Now, I could have possibly, if I worked 24/7 and got Robbie and the boys from Yambi Yamaha to work 24/7 as well, I probably could have got my boat there, but I'm not going to rush it because I think it's a work of art in progress. So we're just going to go with Lenny's boat, and we've got about 4 teams staying with us at the caravan park there. So my shift is now starting to prepare for that. Yep. So I'll definitely have to come see in the next few weeks and get a couple of lures from Casino Outdoors and Disposal.
Now, off the back of that, mate, was there, with the Flatty Classic in mind, of course, we know we've just come back off the back of AFTA. Was there anything there that appealed to you moving forward for maybe the Flatty Classic that you'd love to take?
Look, I actually am... I love the My Lure Box Soft Glide.
Yeah, for sure.
I have had an experiment with that a little bit, and the experiments that I've had have been really, really good. But it's more about where you can put that lure.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And not have it foul up and not get caught up on weed. And the extra tweaks that's John's put towards it is next, the floating idea, concept
for sure.
is a great idea. So
I like the idea of making it float instead of making it sink. That was very unique. If you're not familiar with what we're talking about, head over to the My Lure Box page and check out that for sure. But no, that's awesome, mate. A little bit of news. I won't dive in too much because actually the weigh-in's probably happening right now of the second day of the ABT at Somerset, but
13 kilos, Joe, first day.
Just over 13 kilos for a 4 fish limit. So if you're trying to sort of compare that with like an Elite Series bag, you're looking at like 28-pound bag, which is a cracking bag. Like that's a big bag of fish. So shout out to that legend for getting that big bag. But what I wanted to talk about out of that tournament is the non-boater leading the big bass of the event at just under 4 kilos.
Right, who's that?
I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I knew you'd ask
Put you
me
on
that.
the spot.
Put me on the spot. But like, I think it was like an 8.6 pounder. So like 3.889 kilos or something, like just ridiculous.
And at this time of year, at this particular lake, is this normal, or is this something that is exceptional? What's your take on it?
Look, it is pretty normal. It is a normal springtime thing.
Mm-hmm.
Look, in saying that, the fishing was phenomenal, but like second place was back to like a 7 kilo
Yeah,
bag, which is still a great bag.
Yeah.
But then there was still like 20 donuts or something like that. So it was still tough. But I think the thing is, not being a weekend tournament at this time of year is a key on these lakes.
Okay.
The boat pressure, they had I think like a water skiing tournament or something there on Sunday and pre-fish. And like that would have just shut the fish down. So
yeah.
having these midweek tournaments at this time of year is really game changing. You're going to see bigger fish numbers, etc. So
that's great.
Yeah, it is great. Yeah, I can't wait to when we finish this to check out who's taking that home, because really anyone can win, because a 13 kilo bag's out there. So that guy donuts and the guy in second gets 13 kilos. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's absolutely anyone's game when them big fish are on play. So
that's right.
But mate, beside that, that's probably all the news I've got. I've got a little bit of other stuff, but we'll dive into that in a minute. What have you been up to more than anything? Nothing really.
Look, nothing really. Like I said, my focus has now shifted towards the Flathead Classic.
Yep.
Obviously, still playing boats, shirts, all this other stuff in the background, and just organising a trip here and there, and trying to probably lock in when we're going to get to Brushy soon. Yeah,
that's a little bit daunting. I was looking at it the other day. I was like, for fuck's sake, I don't know when this is going to happen. We're going to make it happen.
Yeah.
But look, mate, I've had a bit on.
Yeah.
I've had a bit on.
Yeah.
So since after, I'll tell this a little bit first. This is only yesterday, as we're recording this, but I've put my school teacher hat on.
School teacher.
So got invited to a school to do some lure making with the kids.
Okay, how'd that go?
It was unreal. Yeah, really thoroughly enjoyed it. Year 7 and 8 boys. It was good. There was a couple of characters in there.
You would have fitted right in there.
I did. I fitted right in. No, but look, it was really cool. Hey, it was great to see the passionate, like any, 13, 14-year-old. They just wanted to rush everything and they wanted their lure finished in 10 minutes, which unfortunately doesn't work.
Yeah.
But no, it was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I'm actually going to probably pop back up there tomorrow or the next day to finish off their processes, do a bit of painting with the kids. But no, I really enjoyed it. I sat in the bandsaw for an hour and chopped all their shapes out for them. But no, it was really, really, really cool. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But the main thing I've been up to, and it's going to probably fill in a bit of an episode today, because I've got some yarns off the back.
Before we get on to that, do you see yourself over the next few years being a teacher or mentor in this lure making space?
I do. I just don't know how. I was only thinking about this the other day, do you do like courses where you travel around and do schools, or do you just get a position at a school? Look, it is a little bit of a tricky one. But no, I love the teaching side of it. And to be honest, as I get old, not that I'm old now, but as I do get a little bit older, I'd love to back off that intense workload, and fill it in with a bit of teaching. So, if there's anyone out there who wants a lure maker as a teacher, shout out.
You could put in a submission to the Recreational Fishing Trust Fund.
I could.
Like we spoke about in previous
I could get a grant to travel around all the schools and teach them how to make lures. So
anything's possible.
Anything's possible, but no, the simple answer to that is yes, definitely 100% would love to get involved with that. That'd be fantastic. But the main thing I've been up to.
Righto, hit me.
So, off the back of AFTA, as you know, we had a couple of mates, Yuji and Tatsu, over from Japan.
Yep.
And they wanted to go Murray cod fishing.
Yeah, it's funny because I met these guys that rocked up Friday night at AFTA, and we're sort of talking away, and the language gap.
Yeah, although they know English, they have no idea what you're saying.
Yeah, and I said something to them like, where you got to go to or where you live, and the look on their faces look like I offended them. I don't know what I said or what they've interpreted it, but I'm sitting there doing house, live under, house, this, where you live, there, that, and
That's great.
I'm glad you were around, because if I kept going on with it, they might have bloody done a bit of kung fu on me or
We
something.
might have kung fu panted you. Nah, look, I've known Tatsu for a long time now, and they both of them are really top blokes. But after spending every minute with them for like 48 hours or whatever it was,
Yeah.
I now understand that even though Tatsu can understand what I'm saying, like he knows the English, he has no fucking idea what I'm saying.
Yeah, right.
They understand about 20% of what I say. So
Yeah,
it was a fantastic trip. So we left here. It wasn't till late. They went fishing with a gentleman on the Monday, and we didn't leave here till like 5:30. So the plan was to drive out and have a feed at the pub, but I realised pretty quick that the pub wasn't going to be open by the time we got there.
Mm-hmm.
So we started hooning out the road, and conversation starting to flow. And Tatsu goes, "Oh, is it true? The kangaroo attack car?" I'm like, no. Kangaroos don't attack the car. Like we hit kangaroos. It's just part of like living in the country,
Yeah.
Fuck me. I haven't hit Nauru in like 12 months.
Yeah.
About 5 minutes later, I come around this corner and there's a little narrow. It's not a single lane bridge, but you wouldn't want to pass two on it. Like it's not overly big.
Mm.
And there's a roo in the middle of the bridge. I've travelled that road 1,000 times more, and I've never seen a kangaroo on the bridge. And
you've lined her up.
I'm like, boys, you're going to have to hang on because I can't swerve. He's in the middle of the road, so I can't go around him because I got guide rails.
Yeah.
So I sort of aimed him to the middle, and I just punched the poor little bugger. Anyway, as you do, I got out, checked, and no, he was definitely out of his misery, the poor little fella, because you couldn't sort of find all of him. Was the main reason, you could tell that. And anyway, we roll on to Tenterfield, and I've gone and bought the boys some dinner, and I've come back, and they've got their phones out filming the car. What the fuck's going on here? And he's laughing, and there is blood and bits of kangaroo stuck the whole way up the side of the car. And still to when we got home...
Was there much damage to the car?
No. The big bar, I think it just exploded him, and it's just... Because I was sort of turning at the same time, it's just sprayed the side of the car with all the bits.
Yeah, right.
That, still to when we got home, that was a highlight for him.
Well, you don't get that in Japan, do you?
Don't get that in Tokyo.
No.
So, yeah, we rolled on out. And we gets to the pub, and old Love's like, "Nah, look, we're all shut. I've left the room open, blah, blah, blah. All sweet. She was legend." And so the plan was to get up super early, go out, And so we got up early, we left, we're heading out, and I've left a bit early. It's a bit dark. The property that I was going into, there's a heap of neighbours around. And I was like, it's not the sort of place you just want to go driving in the pitch black with your headlights on, I was like, I'll just let it get a little bit more daylight so they can see I've got a canoe on the roof and where we're going, Anyway, especially in those parts of the world, that's just how you roll. I said, boys, we're just going to pull over here and we're going to have some bacon and eggs because they requested that they wanted traditional Aussie breakfast.
That's...
We had bacon and egg rolls with an ice break. Well, can't get any more Aussie than that. So anyway, I've cooked them up and they couldn't believe it. They could not believe that I had a cooker in the back of the car cooking her up. Well, they just blew them away. Like, they're like, we don't do this in Japan.
Wow.
So cooked them up a feed. Anyway, we gets down there, walks down to the river, and we start fishing. And Yuji's got some pains in the belly. And he goes, "Oh, I don't think your bacon and egg roll was very good." I was like, "Brother, it was the ice break. It does it every time."
Look, I think it's bacon egg rolls like a 101 for men's metabolism, really.
Mate, if you're not fishing a tournament and starting the day, or any fishing day for that matter, not off the back of a bacon egg roll or a hash brown and a ice break, you've got two mums.
Yeah. I think,
simple as that.
Yeah. And look, the other side of that is... like an athlete like myself, is the
picture of fitness.
Yeah, picture of fitness. If I just have cereal or a piece of toast to get me through a day's fishing, that just doesn't cut it. Where if I have a bacon egg roll or something to that effect, the old McChew or something, it sort of gets me through them hours of fishing.
Exactly, yeah. So anyway, we're fishing away, and I've told Yuji about 5 times where to cast. Top of this pool, big buckety. I hadn't cast yet. What
you want to see?
it was textbook. And I
Yeah.
said, Yuji, you cast in there and you catch fish. And he goes, oh, okay. And then turns 45 degrees and casts down the river. But they just don't understand.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Is that why they, like you sit there and you're always nodding all the time? So it's just, yes.
Yeah, they
yes,
understand, but they
yes.
don't understand. And that's not
Yeah.
anyone's fault. It's just the Aussie slang. And if anyone knows me, I talk in my own language 5 parts of the time. So he had a bit of a hard time understanding what I was. At that time of the morning, I was probably like, yeah, Brad, cart over there, and you catch a cod. Like, he probably had no fucking idea what was going on. So I've unhooked my lure, and I'm like, fuck this, and I've lodged it in there. 2 cranks to the handle, I'm on. And
Yeah.
I called it for a meatery. He was that big. I've called him. I was like, that's
Yeah.
a meatery, boys. Fucking strap yourselves in. Anyway, he was high 90s. He was a cracker.
Mhm.
Sorry, high 80s, I should say. High 80s, but he was like well into the 30-odd pound range. Like, he was a cracker, like
Yeah.
my PB river cod. And just to see the excitement on their faces, and I'm like, but that should have been your fish. But he's like, he didn't care. He didn't care, but that really kicked the trip off. We struggled a little bit. The day was pretty tough. It was hot. The boys were sweating a lot. It was hot, sort of that over the range weather.
Yeah.
And but no, we had a great day and went back and
Yeah, so I have to ask. So what did you take out there? And noting where these guys or what people they're affiliated with, what was some of the gear that you used out there for the cod, just for the viewers to hear?
Yeah, so look, I'm pretty biased. I just run my own stuff, like me Jollop Ripper 110 SR crank and the 80 SR. They just catch cod.
Yeah.
Like, there's no need to sugarcoat it. They just catch cod.
Mhm.
And that was the most frustrating thing. Nothing against those legends, but they wanted to catch them on their lures, and I'm like, but they're not designed to
For
catch cod. They're designed to catch sea bass, and
Yeah.
they had these little tight shimmy actions. They're very skinny sort of profile, and I'm
Right.
not saying a cod won't eat them, but they're not designed to catch cod. And I'm like, mate, you throw it. It's up to you. And anyway, in the end, I said, Tatsu, tie this on. And he tied on my lucky colour in the Ripper 110, and about 4th cast in, caught a cracking cod. So, yeah, like, it's hard for them to understand, like, that why won't their lures work here? And I'm like, but my lures don't work there. And they're like, well, yeah. I'm like, so it's the same thing. But it's just hard trying to explain that to them.
Yeah.
And like, I've known a lot of Japanese and very good friends with a lot of Japanese people. They're the loveliest people, and they're the most loyal people you'll ever meet. And that's the main reason for wanting to use their gear, is to remain loyal to the company.
Yeah.
And I respect that 100%. Like, I took rods and reels. They used theirs. They were fishing straight through mono. They were happy with that.
Yeah.
That was sweet. But no, it was a good day. We went back and we had a feed and had a few skewies.
That's the way.
As you do with your lunch.
Now, do the boys punch a few in them, or?
Yeah, Tatsu. So Tatsu was going good at lunchtime. We had a few, like not too many. 'Cause I had to drive in the afternoon, and we had a bit of a chill out in the pub, which was unreal. Shout out to the Emerville Club Hotel, I think it's called.
Yeah, right.
Fantastic establishment. I think it's Heath there, runs a great show, and the food, mate, fuck me.
Yep.
I'd
Bang
almost
kebab.
drive out there for a fucking Canberra on the weekend. It was
Yeah.
that good, yeah. Unreal. Good atmosphere, good old country pub. And that blew them away, sitting in a country pub at lunchtime drinking beer. So for people that don't know, in Japan, the drink driving limit's 0.
Oh, right.
So they can't have a beer. So for him to sit down, watch me sink 3 schooners with lunch,
Yep.
he's like, what are you doing? But I'm like, mate, it's fine. Like, there's nothing against the law about this. It's A-OK, And we weren't going anywhere for a couple. Shout out, if there's anyone that works for Sony or anything like that, shout out to me, the 2 Pelicans, Jollop Lures. I'd love to do a deal. So reach out to anyone that runs a company,
Yes.
camera company. It doesn't have to be Sony. I'll if it's what I want and it's somewhere else, we will do a deal with you.
Sounds good to me.
We don't want it for free, but we want a deal.
No. We just want a deal.
Want a deal.
And a plug and return, and
Yeah, exactly.
we'll go from there.
To be fair, off topic, because we go on tangents here at the 2 Pelicans podcast, that Sony, it's fucking seen some work.
Yeah, well, that's right.
It's seen some work. He's a great camera. That's a Sony ZV-1. Shout out to Sony, not affiliated, of course, but it's a blogger's camera, and it has done me very well.
They're very, very popular in the vloggers world.
That's why we've got it, because we're fucking little bloggers. But anyway, moving along. That blew them away. So we went for a fish that afternoon, and I was planning to stay till after dark.
Yeah.
And it got to like 4:30, and they're like, "We're done. We're fucked," which is understandable, you know. Like, they've been busy with work and stuff. And I was like, "That's okay." suited me fine.
Yeah,
the
right.
pub was calling.
So you went out there for how many days?
So we had 2 days. This is still day one.
Okay, right.
So we got back to the pub and we punished the bottle of rum.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
And did the boys like Australian rum?
yeah. So Tatsu, I think he kept up with me for the first 9, and that was in about the first hour and a half. So Jojo was on the fucking fire.
Yeah.
And I said, Tatsu, you don't have to keep up, bud. Like, I'm just thirsty. Like, I'm just up because I'm thirsty.
And what's what was it? A Monday night, Tuesday night?
That was a Tuesday night.
Tuesday night. A few people at the pub. Or?
There was a couple there having dinner. But we kept that place alive. I loved behind the bar. I had a bit of a giggle there. She was like travelling,
Yeah, right.
working.
You didn't get kicked out.
No, I didn't get. Last time I was at the Emerville pub, got kicked out. Didn't get kicked out this time, so that was good. But there came a time in the night where she made it quite clear that it was time for her to go to bed, and she didn't want us in the premises anymore.
Yeah.
But so Tatsu started. For fuck's sake!
So nah.
For our Spotify fans, we're going to be back in 2 shakes of a dog's doodle. All right, we are back for our Spotify listeners yet again. Some technical dramas, but this is what makes the Two Pelican podcast.
This is exactly
what it is.
right. This is exactly right. So, look, so you've called it quits on the first night.
After having many runs.
How was the wake up in the morning for the next day of fishing?
I was fine. I was sweet. Like I sort of cut my limit off, and I had a heap of water and went to bed. And I actually woke up and I forgot we'd even been to the pub. To be fair, I was like, I didn't even feel crook.
Just bounced straight up and back into it.
Tatsu said that he felt good, but I'm going to call him out. I don't think he felt overly good at all. And the main reason was we're at the bar there, right in front of the taps, and he tried one of everything that was on tap to finish the night.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So I reckon he'd had a bit on there, but so my plan was the next day. I said, look, Yuji still hadn't caught a fish because he wouldn't fucking listen. I kept telling him, I said, you're like my son. You don't fucking listen.
He's like, yeah.
I understand. And so I said, look, I got a plan. We're going to head across to a little secret spot. I know it's an hour and a half north, totally different river, different range. But afterwards, if the fishing was shit, either way, we can head up to Glen Lyon Dam, bit of a drive.
Yeah.
We can go and check out the big mating cod at the wall. So add to their trip a little bit.
Yep.
So we head up, got into my little secret spot, and it's a kind of hole where you just drop the canoe in there and you fish. Like, it's nice and easy,
Mm-hmm.
So we hopped in and we fished the first log pile, and no one had made the right cast. I threw in, boom, first cast. And I'm like, fuck me. Anyway, Yuji ended up getting one, which was fantastic. I think I got 2 or 3. Yuji got 2. Yeah, he ended up with 2, and they were stoked. And all the boys had caught fish. Job done.
Yeah. And what's the other fella's name?
Tatsu.
Still a bit dusty at that stage?
No, I think he was all right. I think he come good. He said, "Oh, no bacon and eggs today, please."
I think the best way, you probably should have jammed a can into him.
Could have, but they had to come home and drive. They had to drive the end of Coffs Harbour, which is another yarn in itself. But anyway, we went and watched the mating cod, and as a whole, it was really good, and it was good to take them fishing because it's normally the other way. They're taking me fishing in Japan, so it was really good to finally repay that favour and to take them for a fish. But it was unreal. It was a good time, and back here and back into work, back in the real world.
That's right. So for them guys, they were just heading south and getting a plane from Sydney back home?
No. So they were off. So they were here on business from their company, Valley Hill, Teniema. And so they were off to Motackle.
Oh, righto.
And they stayed at Motackle for one night, Coffs, and then they headed to Tweed, and they went to a store in Tweed, and then they drove the next day to Brisbane, and then they flew to Mackay. And they did some business in Mackay for one day, and then they flew to Cairns, and they did some business in Cairns, and then they went to Singapore, and they've just landed home this morning.
So what you're saying, being a big tackle rep has its perks.
Yeah, they are the international salespeople. So Yuji and Tatsu, that's their job. Like the other week, they were over in America. They've been to Finland. They get around. That's their job. That is their job. Making inroads, trying to sell products. So
yeah, right.
I think it was nice for them, to take 5 out of that trip just to come and have a codfish.
Yeah,
So,
no. And I'm sure that they enjoyed that time as well.
It was good, man, and it was just the camaraderie, and like I won't go into everything, but there was so many funny things that happened, like Tattoo just couldn't. Everything blows them away.
Yeah.
Like the guy behind the bar, we're chatting about lures. The next thing you know, I've got the lure boxes out, and I'm doing a sales pitch at like 8:30 at night, and thongs behind the bar, and Tattoo's like, "This is amazing," and he's filming it. Like it's just so different. Like everything we do is very, very different to them.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I think that I'll wrap that up there. That's been enough of me, mate. But look, before we dive into this next yarn with Laurie and Kendall, let's talk about some mud gudgeons of the week.
Right. Well, I had
You had a positive mud gudgeon.
No, I probably did, but I think I've forgotten that. It's because something annoying has come up into my head.
Here we go.
And it actually stems from, I think, a post that I seen in Instagram, like with all these pictures, like, you know, if you remember this, you were born in the right era, sort of thing, right? So, once again, running late, need to get a feed into me. I go to McDonald's because it's just quick and easy. Drive
Is this
through.
the same said McDonald's that fucked you around?
Oh,
last
we can't. We don't name and shame which one. Right?
But is it the same one?
Yeah. No.
No. Oh, okay. We've got two shit makers.
No. So, anyhow, in this day and age, you get a burger, right? It comes in a box. Every time you open that fucking box, that burger is fucking disjointed and out of place, right? Now, back when I grew up, back in the old days, they used to have those things called burger collars, right? That keeps all the shit together.
Yes, I do know.
Can someone from Macca's bring back that fucking burger collar?
But it's a bit like, could you imagine me packaging up a lure and just throwing the hooks and the split rings in as its optional extra?
Yeah. Like, it's not plastic or anything like that, so it's not like it
was like a little string or something.
Bring back the plastic straws as well, but it was cardboard.
Yeah.
It was
I know the
fucking
exact
cardboard.
thing.
It's recyclable.
Now that we're getting a bit of a following here at the Two Pelicans, we could maybe have a bit of a push for the plastic straw with all of our 485 followers. We could have a push for the plastic straw.
Yeah, look, I think the horse is bold on that because, you know, plastic's bad.
Yeah.
But for the humble burger collar, it served a fucking good purpose.
Great purpose, yeah.
It was made out of cardboard.
Let us know. Let us know what's something super simple that you miss. Let us know. Drop us a message. Let us know. Call up and, let us know about that super simple little thing that no longer is made that made your life so much fucking easier.
Yeah. You know what? In my house, just with the plastic straws, my bride's actually got metal straws everywhere because the ones that you just get just fall apart in like 5 or 10 minutes.
And they're terrible. They're garbage.
Rubbish.
You pay $18 for a smoothie and you can't drink the fucking thing because the straw fails.
Yep. And you're sort of sucking on like debris of cardboard.
Exactly. My mud gudgeon of the week. Don't know. I haven't put a lot of thought into this. I've got a couple.
Yep.
The fuckwit that had his high beams on the way out there, and then when he went past, the kangaroo was in the middle of the road.
Righto.
Had your fucking high beams not been on, I probably would have seen the fucking kangaroo beforehand, you dog.
What is the high beam etiquette, do you think? Because, you know, I think there's a general rule. I don't know what the road rule is, but I thought it was about either 200 or 500 metres.
I might be a bit old school. My rule is if I can see headlights, you drop your headlights.
That's how I operate too. But
even if it's a 800, 900 metre straight, if I can see your headlights, I'm dipping them.
Yeah, I agree with
Off the back of that, though, if I'm coming over the crest of a hill and I can see your headlights coming up the hill, I'm going to dip them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come over the crest of the hill and your headlights aren't dipped and I'm fucking blind.
That's exactly right. And all the, you know, once again, like back when I had me driver's license back, I won't say how far back, but, you know, all these lights and light bars really
What are you saying,
exist.
you don't have your driver's license now?
No, I do. Maybe I never got it and I haven't been caught yet.
Yeah, maybe. Shout out to all the policemen on the road. But no, that'd be my mate. I've had a bit of go bads this week, but I think that's in mud gudgeon of the week. Yeah. Mate, look, why don't we dive in here now to our yarn that we had with the Women's Recreational Fishing League?
Yes.
We, as I said, this was pre-recorded after, guys. We're going to tune in here right now. This is Laurie and Kendall from the Women's Recreational Fishing League.
Welcome back to the Two Pelicans podcast. I'm Joey.
I'm Mick, and we are the Two Pelicans.
And this is the fishing podcast, here to make fishing great once again. And we're here to get you weapons, you legends, and you pelicans through your work week with a big old smile on your dial. And Mick, we have some very special guests with us here today.
We definitely do. We've got Kendall and Laurie. How you going there, guys?
Yeah,
Or
great.
gals?
Well, yeah.
So the reason we've got these legends on today is to talk about something special they've got happening. It's the Women's Recreational Fishing League. Would you like to tell the viewers exactly what is that and how did it sort of come about?
Yeah, so the Women's Recreational Fishing League is basically an organisation that we've set up that it kind of follows on from the WRF, which is the Women in Recreational Fishing. And they are set up to sort of come and try, encourage women to come and try fishing, grab a rod, and it's all for free. So they're government funded, but then they don't have the ability to get sponsorship to do tournaments and stuff like that and teach people sort of how to come in and mix it with the open tournaments.
Yep.
So that women are feeling more comfortable competing in that area.
Yeah. So competing is sort of against each other, sort of on a more level playing field, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's important because I guess there's always been that stigma around that, especially tournament fishing too, been the man's thing.
Yeah.
It's really good to see that you guys are trying to establish one for women to be comfortable, and hopefully more women into that actual the main arena as time goes on.
Yeah. So basically, like after the women have figured out that they like fishing.
Yeah.
And they've tried things with the WRF girls and stuff like that, then they come to us because we're self-funded or sponsored. We're looking for plenty of sponsors if anyone's interested.
Yeah.
Shout out to all your pelicans.
So anyone that's interested in sponsoring these guys or girls, then please do so.
Yeah. So,
And I guess, like we sort of mentioned off camera, it's not like you're not trying to steal other people's thunder. Like, we're not trying to step on other people's toes. Like, it's like ABT, the Bass Electric, perfect example. Bass Electrics are always there as a stepping stone to the premium Pro series. So that's essentially what you guys are doing. You're offering that maybe that little bit of more of a higher tier premium product that the ladies can go, hey, we're going to throw a hat in the ring, feel comfortable, and have a fat time at the same time.
yeah.
So we've got resources where we do a digital catch-up every month. We get a guest speaker in.
Yep.
So the one just literally this week was ex-military, competes around the world, lived in Canada, fly fishing, saltwater fishing, survival, covered up on a whole range of topics. But we've then got other things where we take an X Factor tournament, what we call X Factor, which is one of the shirts for the Clarence, your local waterway. And it's similar to an ABT, but it's not. So we call it a mentee and a mentor.
Yep.
So we literally take mentees for a whole day, and we teach them everything about our waterway. So what a lure is, what type of lures that you're going to be using, what's top water versus down deep. And then we compete. How to try not. So it's literally
Which are basic things, but like for people that fish all the time, you don't even think second about it. But for the average angler, which we're all about here, it's just those little simple things. And like you guys have said, it's just doing it in that sort of environment to make everyone sort of feel comfortable. And
one of our mentoring tournaments that we had in August last year, I think it was. We had a woman who came to us and she'd never picked a rod up in her life. She wasn't even that interested in it, but she's a friend of Joe Starlings, who's our president of our league, and she wanted to come along and see why Joe was so obsessed with this.
Awesome.
And anyway, so I actually had her on my boat, and she caught her first fish with me. To see that light in her eyes, and she figured out why we love this stuff. It was it was a beautiful thing to watch. And then, we came back in and Joe's created a little video, and then we've gone away and she's gone and bought her first rod and reel set up, and she's teaching her nieces and nephews to fish, and it's just, this is why we do this stuff,
It's exactly right. Like, we spoke about this a lot today here at After, and it's like, there's some of the companies there that are doing it for the right reasons, and there's some of the companies there that are doing it for cashing in and making money, and it's a business. And like, we're all about business, we understand that. Like, people have got to put food on the table for their families, but at the end of the day, You do it because you love it, and it's why I make lures, because old mate catches his biggest fish on your lure, and you guys are doing what you're doing, and I think, you know, like, life now is so busy. Like, it was never like this, and I don't care what anyone says. It's just now, like, you got kids, your sports, and you this, and work's very demanding, cost of living. So for that lady to take 5 minutes out and try something she's never done, and now her nieces, her nephews, her kids, anyone, like, you just don't know where that ends. You know?
Yeah, it was amazing to watch, and she's one of our success stories, and we just love it.
So we were just talking offline there before. Are you able to just explain to the viewers how the format works?
Yeah, so with the Women's Recreational Fishing League, you pay a membership of $25. It's pretty cheap, right?
Yeah.
So you get
It's half a carton of beer.
Yeah, half a carton of beer.
And a cheap carton.
A couple of plastics. It's great.
So that's essentially what you have to pay to become a member, and you get lots of benefits for doing that. And then if you want to compete within the league, you have to pay $80 per year. You can do it by month, but it's cheaper to do the whole 12 months. And that covers you for the whole year to compete in our league sprints, which is basically just teaching women how to tournament fish, and with apps and stuff like that, because we do the measuring on a mat and sending it into the app, track my fish, do our stuff,
and that really, you know, being able to do it on an app and all that, and for the time period, allows flexibility, doesn't it?
Yeah. And you can actually then compete in different states. So, like, if we're going to be up here for a length of time, you buy a Queensland pass. So you're in the Queensland rounds, and then the angler each month that scores the most points goes in and spins up for prizes. So
that's good.
So while you're having a good time and you're learning about fishing, you're still competing, and it's like, look, I don't,
camaraderie.
and I don't care what anyone says. Every single person has that little bit of competitiveness in them. So, you know, to throw your hat in the ring, it's a bit of fun at the end of the day. So. We did mention just there before off camera, there's actually, like, some of the people involved in this are doing really well at the moment in the tournaments. Would you like to fill us in on a little bit on that?
So we've got 3 people at the moment. So we've got Bridget Curry, we've got Jill Wales, and Karen Van Bale, otherwise known as KBB. So she's probably one of the biggest success stories for us in recent times.
Before she came to us, she didn't want to touch a fish. And now she's all over it. She's incredible.
So first year doing ABT, and she's sitting in the top 10, going to be in the grand final.
It's awesome to see. I actually was talking about Bridget. I remember it was her first year, and it was at Wob, and I was actually running the event. I was out with Morgo, and we filmed them catch the winning fish. And Bridget had never met Dave, and now they are very good friends. You know, they'll go fishing, they'll catch up, and that's just that camaraderie. You know, like. Fishing, it's just no different to meeting your mate at the pub, have a beer, you know. It's like how we catch up together, and no, it's really cool. It is a good success story.
It's a real network side of the equation for the whole country as well. So if you're coming up to a certain area that you're not sure of, females are actually more willing to share info. And
that is very true.
And it's done in a really friendly environment as well. So we're very strict on like sort of the no dickhead type policy.
No dickhead policy.
If you're a dickhead, you're out. Sorry.
And it's one go, no go. So if you're going to belittle someone, that's it. You don't get a second chance. You're out.
I think that's very important too, and especially when people are. And not just women, but people coming into that sport. Like, I guess when I sort of come in doing a little bit of ABT, I felt like there was probably 1 or 2 running around back then. So I think
now
it's very
there's 10 or 12.
To be inclusive. Sorry, Steve. I think it's it's great to get everyone inclusive and get everyone on that common goal of getting out there and enjoying it, and enjoying it from a competition point of view.
It also means, like, one of the biggest sort of, like, when you chat to, I know sometimes with my hubby, when you're trying to learn something, they want to fish. So if
we do not.
Partner,
we're there to help.
So we take it from even, like, back in the boat. So the equation.
Do you know what sucks though? When I'm the one that has to teach a new boyfriend how to fish.
He could be the mud goat of the week.
You probably need to get rid of him.
I don't have one.
All right, there you go.
I think
there you go.
There we go. But we're not just here to shout out this year fishing. If anyone's interested on the Team Pelicans, she knows how to fish and back a trailer.
That's right.
I come with the boat too, by the way.
Oh, just the whole package. Jeez.
There we go.
That took a turn.
All good. You got this right.
Dating with the two pelicans.
The next Tinder.
Wow.
Yeah, like a little pelican as a.
We haven't got our pelican hats on. That's
I know,
the-
where's the
that's
pelican
it,
at?
Well, that
But-
just went south real quick.
That did, but we'll bring it back.
We'll bring it back. We'll bring it back. It's fine.
But no, so look, if there's any of these legends that are watching, I don't know if we have any females that listen. If they do, they've got really good tuning out to all our swearing and bad
Yeah.
behaviour on the
No.
channel. But if there's a bloke watching and he might be like, oh, this really sounds like an alley to get my girlfriend or wife, where can they go and find all this information? Is there a website? What's the best thing?
Womensrecfishingleague.org.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Facebook,
Yep.
Insta, all the
Social.
socials.
Yep.
Yep.
Certainly.
Yeah,
do.
we've
Yep.
got a national page, the Women's Recreational Fishing League. You can look that up, and it's got our logo on it.
Yep.
And then there's also a group for each state. So that's not a page; it's an actual group that you have to be accepted into.
Yep.
So depending on what state that you're in, you can Google Women's Recreational Fishing League, little dash, and then put your state, so NSW or TAS,
Yep.
Yeah.
SA, whatever you are,
Yeah.
and it'll pop up and you just join in.
And I think for both us, we have daughters. My one's 10 years old, and she loves fishing. Like,
Yeah.
she really enjoys it. And, you know, I guess when I was growing up, just talking about women's sport in general, you know, the leeway that's there with all these other competitions, it doesn't matter what sport, there's a sport there for you know, for the women to partake in the highest level.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really, really good that
That's the beautiful
we're doing
thing
it.
about fishing, right? There is actually, it's complete parity.
yes,
Yeah.
So
that's right.
there's no difference between you and
Well,
I. on the boat.
sometimes my wife's sort of a bit better than me. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've got that a lot. Shout out.
We actually hear this a lot, and particularly from charter
Yep.
operators.
Yep.
That women actually land more fish
Yeah.
than men
Yeah.
because we don't manhandle them. We're
Yeah.
gentle.
And to be honest too, I think you probably enjoy it more, and this might be digging myself in a big hole here. dig.
Start
Um,
thinking, mate.
But like, obviously, like as men,
It's alright, we'll
we
get you out afterwards.
yeah, we'll edit this out. The editor will cut this out. Look, as a man, we do get the good end of the stick. Like, there's no doubt about that. You know, like if we do get to go out, we get to fish. So then maybe when your wife can have a break from the kids for 10 minutes or whatever to go for a fish,
Yep.
she enjoys it and she's
Yeah.
relaxed, and that will obviously result back in a better result for
Yeah,
fishing.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. I say it a lot lately. I think like I'm a high school teacher, so I'm so
Oh, you poor
busy.
thing.
I know. All the time, like, and I'm also the secretary. I'm secretary of the league, but I'm also the secretary of the local game fishing club in Coffs Harbour. So
Okay.
I've got a lot on my plate, and to be honest with you, I'd never ever switch my brain off unless I'm in a boat fishing.
Yeah. Totally.
It's the only
100%
time
agree with
that I
that.
don't try to do life admin
Yep,
stuff,
yep,
and I just
yep,
switch off and
yep,
do what
yep.
I'm doing.
Yeah.
I love my time in the boat
Yeah.
just for that reason.
Yeah.
Just to get it out on the Sunday.
Yeah.
Just to just turn off and
Yeah.
then just
And,
fish away.
and it's funny you say like the last few episodes we haven't got a studio set up, and I've actually set up a studio in my boat. And how cool is it
Yeah.
just to sit in the boat and
Yeah.
have a tin, and we're telling these yarns, and you sort of forget where you are,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you do, because you're in your little
Yeah.
element, you're looking at all your
Yep.
fishing gear. It
Yeah.
is. It's look, everyone's got their thing. Golfers go and play golf because
Oh,
they enjoy it,
100%.
and
Yeah.
we love fishing. So
Yeah.
look, now moving forward for the rest of this year, is there any big plans? Anything on the calendar that's a sort of a standout for the league?
Yeah, we've got a few. So coming up in about 3 weeks' time, we've got a Barra experience.
Yeah, wow.
So we do different experiences right throughout the country. So they'll be on a houseboat chasing barramundi.
Wondering?
Yeah.
Unreal. What's is there dates on that coming up?
It is the second weekend in September.
Oh, you poor things! I think I'm going that weekend.
Well, it should be
Say
the
that.
fourth thing
Yeah, I
on the
think
way.
we are. I think that's the weekend now. It might be ABT weekend, possibly.
You'll hear us from across the.
I'm
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kayak fishing.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So you're
Now,
on the houseboat.
I guess this is a thing, or we have just sort of I've forgotten to actually mention is this women's fishing league. It isn't just for women, is it?
No.
And,
No.
all ages, all sizes, all shapes, genders. You're welcome. You're welcome
Yeah.
to come along.
Absolutely.
Definitely, for someone learning, blokes are always pretty quick to take the piss out of their mates.
Yeah.
They so are girls.
Yep.
But it means they can get into those chat rooms as well, so you're not
Yeah.
excluded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can jump in
Yeah.
and.
But if you're a dickhead, you're out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're out.
But ultimately too, like it sounds like that it could be a family affair. You know, the
definitely.
kids could come along. Look, and you've done it as well. You know, we've had 4 people in the boat fishing on on a weekend. So I think it opens up that opportunity as well.
But dads, if you are going to take the kids along, it's all about mum. Don't
Yeah,
forget, you're in charge
you're
of baiting the
backbone.
hooks. You're backbone. It's all about mum. So, so you guys have a pretty cool, exciting event, the State of Origin. Tell us how that works.
So the real gauntlet was sort of devised where it means state versus state. So throughout the year you fish, and now we're getting into the serious time frame. So Adelaide's been knocked out, Tassie's been knocked out.
Tassie's overseas anyway. She's in Australia. Shout out to the Mexican. We've got a listener that's called the Mexican.
Sorry about that.
If I had me little sound effects, I could press the shots forward.
So each month you're actually competing against a different state, and it's male and female. So it's 50 men per state. It's capped 2, but unlimited for females.
Yeah,
unreal.
Sure.
So it means you can stack your teams full of females and get the points. All that based. And with that, it's all benchmarked as well. So when it comes to trophy fish, it's a level playing field. Which is pretty cool. And now we're getting to the serious end. We start doing knockouts.
Oh, as long as New South Wales are the next to go, that'll be all right.
Pipe down there, buddy.
I'm a dirty Maroons.
Just get back in your box.
So top angler for each state's $2,000 with the prizes.
Cool.
So not only are you having a great time, not only are you having some great camaraderie with some other great women and men, and you're learning, you can take home some prize money.
Absolutely. $2,000 per state. It's pretty good.
Bloody oath. And look, guys, as I said before, we're going to drop all this stuff on our socials. We'll grab some links and stick it up over there. We'll drop it in the comments down below. But look, really appreciate you guys for catching up with us today and taking the time out of your day. But it wouldn't be a Pelican show without a yarn, and I'm sure these ladies have got a yarn. We've got a funny fishing yarn or a bit of a F up or.
We've got plenty, but we'll just have to figure out
Yeah.
Look, anything suitable on the Pelicans, anything goes. Patreon, shout out to Patreon. That's what that's there for.
We scratched down pretty low, so it's all good.
I guess one of them was a person from Ozfish, which we may or may not mention. On our very first sort of fish glen board, it was lower water, and we found out that a certain vehicle, once it's on the boat ramp, when the petrol light's on, because the indicator of your sensor was actually at the top of the we ended up getting stuck.
So I may or may not have had to snatch strap her and boat trailer off the boat ramp.
Allegedly.
That's a mud gadget of the week.
So not only did we learn that weekend about reversing our trailers, but
Also
we also learned about
fuel light sensors.
Yes.
Just put fuel in your car.
Mate,
Don't play that roulette.
mate, I live my life. I've driven up here today on the fuel light, and I'll probably put $10 in, and I'll go the whole way home on the fuel light. That's how we live our life, on the edge.
My personality lives on that edge too. I'm known within my local fishing club as the one that always runs out of fuel. I permanently have the award for doing a stupid thing in a year, and it always goes to me.
But as long as you have a good time at the same time, who cares? So, big shout out to you guys. Look, we really do appreciate it. We'll probably wrap things up here. I'm not sure how it's long. It wouldn't be the 2 Pelicans without a few malfunctions, and that's exactly what we've had. Look, if you're thinking about it, reach out to the ladies. I'm sure even just a message won't go astray. So, big shout out. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
No worries.
Cheers, guys.
Alrighty, guys. I hope you really enjoyed that. It was a great chat, and as you can tell,
It was very enlightening.
And both those women, I think they like to have a good time.
Yeah, and they're passionate about what they're doing. So
I've known Laurie for some time. She has been a part of the ABT series for some time now. I've been around her, but we'd both never met Kendall, and she just rocked up and. Was like you'd known her for 20 years. Straight on having a yarn.
And hopefully she's found a suitable suitor.
Yes, hopefully, if you listen to that, you'd see she's on the hunt for just a bloke with a 4-wheel drive, I think. She's got the boat.
Yeah, the boat's there, so, and it's a cracking boat. So,
but shout out to them guys, that was unreal. But, mate, before we finish off the show, I think we will just quickly touch on what we're going to do with the next few episodes. So our plan is we filmed have we said who the next guest is yet?
No, we haven't. But look, I think we'll. What we're going to do here is we're going to space out them interviews that we had with AFTA over a
So yeah, it's going to get spaced out, mate, over the next sort of
3-4
right.
weeks. That's right. So look, I think we'll do it that way. I think I don't think there was anything relevancy of the time that we done it, but I think there's other things happening now around tournaments and that we sort of want to dive into where we can.
Yeah, sure.
So look, without any further ado, next week it was an absolute honour personally for me to sit down and interview Simon Goldsmith,
the one and only. Very good friend of mine, and it was unreal to get him on the show. And unfortunately, we cut it off at around that hour mark.
Yes.
But I think if we weren't as hungry as we were, we could have kept going for another 3 hours. It was a great chat. You're definitely going to want to hang around that one. And the people that think it's just tournament based, it's not. We dive into. Simon opened up a little bit there about our Patreon's just died there, but we're about to wrap things up, so we're going to stop fighting with this camera. Shout out to any camera people yet again. But yeah, look, Simon did open up there about something personal that happened. I kind of threw him under the bus with that a little. I hadn't actually run him through that. And look, there's some really quality stuff in there, even if you're just out there having a bit of a daily struggle. Simon went through some adversity, and it's really cool how he dives into how he dealt with that and got through it all.
Well, so one thing that I took out of that interview is how professional the man is. Whether it was to do with in the tournament scene or what he's doing now, through to his everyday, I guess, existence. Like he's quite articulated, or can articulate all the things that he's trying to achieve and do, and he sort of has a method to everything that he does and the reasons for it.
Yeah, he's definitely, the time I've known him, he's never fallen short of being professional, that's for sure.
Yes.
And no, it was an honour to have him on, and guys, you are definitely not going to miss that episode because it is a fucking belter. Let me tell you, that follows that.
Well, do you want to name that now? Do we want to get the people interested?
Let's get the people interested. So following, and a couple of weeks after that, is the one and only Tommy Wood.
Yep.
Now, for those that know Tommy, they'll know he's a top fella. And let me tell you, we filmed that at 11 o'clock at night after being at the casino, after being on the tin since 4:30 in the afternoon. So let me tell you, if you like to listen into the Two Drunk Pelicans, that is exactly what you are going to get.
Yeah.
And it is a fucking ripper. We dive into the yarns from the States. We dive into all the funny shit that happened when we're over there. Some of the funny shit, and Tommy might have went a little bit too deep into some of the funny shit. Which will feature highly on Patreon. So if you're not over on Patreon, pay your $3, head over, because
I don't think it was all bad, was it?
It wasn't all bad, but he got a bit off track there at one stage and said, "Babe, we can't play that."
Yeah. Like a pelican, he went off on the tangent.
He did, like a pelican. But even if our camera doesn't let us down here for the last couple of minutes, you still get to hear all the good stuff over on Patreon. So, yet again, Mick, where does everyone support us, listen, and help us out?
Look, we're on Spotify, Patreon, and podcasts as well. And look, what we would like to probably build up in the next few weeks is a couple of your yarns. So your fishing triumphs or fuck-ups, if you can send them to the Two Pelicans at gmail.com.
Or just over on Messenger, mate. Send me a video. I'll cut your face out.
Email. Whatever you want to do, we'll make it work. But we love hearing your stories. And it's sort of a bit of a shout-out to a listener, Craig. He definitely put in a topic there the other day that we will definitely cover in weeks to come.
Yes, for sure. But look, let's leave it there. We've got shit to go and sort out. We've got stuff to do. Yet again, hang tight. We're going to sort out this brushy bash, the piss up, the podcast, F20. We're going to sort it out. We're going to let you guys know. But in the meantime, thanks for tuning in again this week. I am Joey.
And I'm Mick.
You've been listening to the Two Pelicans. Yoo-hoo!